Yahshua to the brothers, Yahushua Latham by Hashem Yahshua to the sisters. It's the I.S.U.P.K Tuesday Brotherhood class. We're in the I.S.U.P.K Atlanta. You understand? Today I wanted to do a topic on Cornelius, man. You know, we're going to go in the Bible and prove how Cornelius is not a white man. You understand? A lot of people in the Bible, a lot of people that read the Bible, especially these other fake Israelite groups, think that Cornelius is a white man. You know what I mean? That you can allow white people to come into the Lord's sacred congregation. That is not the case, man. You understand? But before we go into that, anybody got any questions that they want to ask in the classroom or the conference? Anybody got any questions? Nobody got no questions? Everybody know the Bible? All right, no sweat. You know what I mean? If you got a question, you know to just say Salakia, raise your hand, or say Salakia. You know what I mean? We'll go ahead and get you in here. But, all right. Young man Ron, you could pull Acts chapter 10, verse 1. Pull Acts chapter 10, verse 1, and we're going to start there on the Cornelius topic. And read that when you got it.
Acts 10:1?
Yeah, Acts 10:1.
Acts chapter 10, verse 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band.
Right, stop right there. Now, they said there was a certain man in Caesarea, you understand, called Cornelius, a centurion. What is a centurion? Anybody know what a centurion is? Go ahead.
Member of the military?
It's a certain rank of a military. You understand? Well, a centurion is a certain rank that you achieve in the military. It shows it gives you the rank of how many men you under. I believe centurion is about like 1,000, you over like 1,000 men or so. It might be more than that, but it gets a certain number of men that is under you. You know what I mean? So when it says he's a centurion, that means he's a high-ranking man in this military. Now, Christians and some fake Israelite groups, they'll hear a centurion of the Italian band, and they'll think what? They'll automatically think what?
He's a white man, he's Italian, so like
right, they'll think that he's a white man. They'll think that he's a Roman, that he's Italian. But, okay, if I give you this name, Colin, anybody know who Colin Powell is? Anybody know who Colin Powell is? That's a question. Anybody know who Colin Powell is?
Government official.
Government official. Okay, you right. What? Be more specific. You know what rank he had? You know what status he had? Shalom Lord Christ. Somebody just give me 1 second. Shalom Lord Christ. Somebody just called in.
Yeah, but I super log on.
Y'all just put your phone on mute. Any questions or comments? Take it off so Salaka will get you in here. You know, you say he's a government official, but what kind of government official? You right. Military. You okay? Be a little bit more specific. You right though. All that is right.
I don't know all his history.
Okay, you just know you heard of him.
Yeah, TV.
All right, anybody know who Colin Powell is?
Lakia.
Go ahead.
I believe he was a general.
Yeah, he was a general. Okay, Colin Powell, for time's sake, Colin Powell was the Secretary of State during the Bush administration. He's a 4-star general. But is he a white man or is he a brother? Colin Powell is a brother, man. You know what I mean? Now, if I was just to tell you Colin Powell, right, and you in a natural person to hear Colin Powell, he's a 4-star general, they'll automatically think he's what? A white man. Because in today's time, for some reason, anytime you hear somebody that does anything that's great, you automatically think it's a white man. You know what I mean? We think that black people can't equate to anything great. If it's something great, you can't be black. You got to be white. You know what I mean? This is Cornelius, man. You know what I mean? Cornelius was not a white man. Just because he's a part of the Italian band, it's no different from Colin Powell. Colin Powell is a brother that was a 4-star general. With a click of a button, with a command, he could have damn near killed the whole half of the world, man. 4-star general, Secretary of State. But this is a brother, man. When you hear Cornelius talking about him being a centurion of the Italian band, that's not him. That's not automatically signs for him being a Roman. You know what I mean? That's not signs for him being a white man. That just means that he was a higher ranking man in their military, man. It's just like, you know, brothers all the time. We grow up in brothers, especially if you in the world and you were brothers. brothers either go to jail, you know what I mean, go to college, or they go to the military, man. You know, I know personal people in the military that have achieved a sergeant rank or this rank or that rank, and they in the U.S. Army. But does that mean that they automatically a white person? No, because it's a brother, man. Shalom, Lord Christ. Somebody just called in. I got called on. Was it another person that called in? All right.
Shalom in Christ. This is Armand.
Armand? Okay, Most High Christ. I got you down. But you know what I'm saying? When you hear that, when you read that verse again for me.
Acts chapter 10 and 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band.
Right. So when you hear that he was a man, this is an Israelite, man. You understand? This is not the Lord's. You know, we're going to get into it later, but this is not the Lord saying that now the white man can come into his congregation. You know what I mean? As long as he believes. This is not what it's saying. You got to look at the context words that it's using when it describes Cornelius and the content, the conversation that he had with Peter, because this Cornelius is so important because what was going on between Peter and Paul? Anybody know what was going on between Peter and Paul, which caused this to happen? Anybody on class know what was going on between Peter and Paul? They had a little rift. What was causing the rift between Peter and Paul? Or you know, a disagreement. I won't say a rift, but they had a little disagreement. And what was causing the disagreement? Go ahead.
They was one was trying to teach the Israelites that was lost, the other one didn't.
Okay, you right, but be a little bit more specific on it. But that's it. But be a little bit more specific on it. Paul was sent to who? Who was Paul sent to? What people was Paul sent to teach?
The Gentile one that was Israelite lost.
Yeah, the Gentiles that was in other nations, right? Exactly. Paul was sent to teach the Gentiles that was in other nations. Now Peter, being Peter, you know what I mean, being Christ's right hand man, he didn't want to teach those Gentiles. He wasn't trying to teach those Gentiles. You know what I mean? Peter, that's why you got the whole conversation or the whole argument where they had with the being circumcised and uncircumcised. You know, Peter was like, y'all uncircumcised, I ain't dealing with no uncircumcised men because, well, if you grew in another nation, chances are you wasn't circumcised. That was Israelite custom. Other nations didn't do that. You know what I mean? So if you was born in Rome, you was born somewhere else, chances are you wasn't circumcised. That's what Peter and Paul was dealing with. Now, Peter was higher ranking than Paul. You know what I mean? He ranked higher than Paul. So, you know, of course, when Paul was telling them this, he's, you know, Salakius, sir. He being proper, he's recognizing his rank. But at one point, Paul had to check him because it's like, you know, that's not what Christ taught. Christ died for them too. But that was going on. And so this is why Cornelius ended up coming upon, and you have this story with Peter and Cornelius. This is not, you know, talking about Cornelius being no Edomite. You understand? But you'll start to realize this when you read more and you get a more description on Cornelius. Keep reading. Read the second verse.
Verse 2. A devout man and one that feared God with all his house.
Right. It say a devout man. That's one of the key words. A devout man. And then it said one that feared God, the one that feared the Most High. What does it mean to fear the Most High?
It's like keep them laws.
Go ahead. You said what?
Keep the commandments, keep the laws.
Right. The brother in the class said to fear the Most High is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Because if you fear the Lord, then what would you know? That if you don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, the Lord will kill you. The Lord will kill you. The Lord will put you to death for not keeping his law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? You don't want that punishment coming from the Lord, so you keep the law, statutes, and commandments. That's fearing the Lord, man. You understand what? People in the world, they fear the white man. What does that cause them to do? To some degree, it causes them to keep the law in America. I mean, for some degrees, it causes them to not bother white people, but mess with your brother. You know what I mean? Care for white people and not care for your brother. That's fear. You know what I mean? That's fear. Fear is going to prevent you from doing something because you are scared of what can happen if you do it. You understand? But to fear the Lord is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Now, why is this a problem? Why is this a problem if Cornelius was a so-called white man? Why would this be a problem? Because we know he feared the Lord. That means he what? Kept the law, statutes, and commandments. But why is this a problem if he was an Edomite?
It's a lot.
Go ahead.
They wasn't given no laws to keep.
What's the precept for that? Ain't no sweat.
I know,
Anybody
I
know the
know.
precept for what the brother said? Because the other nations wasn't given the law, statutes,
Oh,
commandments. What's the precept for that?
Salaam, sir.
Go ahead.
Is it Psalms 157 and 1920?
147. Right. Pull that for me. Pull that for me.
147.
Yeah, pull that for me, young man, Keevan.
Turn that one cut.
And read it when you got it.
That one cut. Psalm. Chapter 147. Verse 19. Psalm chapter 147, verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Verse 20. He had not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgment, they have not known them.
Right.
Praise be the Lord.
Right. Read verse 19 again.
Another one come. Psalms chapter 147, verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Right. The Lord showed his word to Jacob, man. You understand? The statutes and commandments to Israel. You understand? That's who he gave the law, statutes, and commandments to keep them. You understand? You want to know why the other nations is going through it? You want to know why coronavirus is spreading so rapidly? Because the agents weren't given no law, statutes, and commandments. They don't know a dietary law. They believe they can eat whatever they want to eat. You know what I mean? That's why you'll see. You want to know why the white man is, or the Salaki, you want to know why the oppressor is going through nation after nation, destroying and killing and taking resources? He wasn't given no law, statutes, and commandments, man. You understand? They wasn't given this. This is why we in the position that we in now. You understand? Keep reading.
Psalm 147.
Yeah, read verse 20.
Cut another one cut. Psalms chapter 147, verse 20. He had not dealt so with any nation.
Right, the Lord haven't dealt this. Stop right there. The Lord haven't dealt this way with any nation, man. There's no other nation that you can say got the law, statutes, and commandments for the Lord. So for us to sit here and say, well, Cornelius is a Roman, he's a white man. The Lord gave him the law, statutes, and commandments. You would contradict what the Lord said, man, because he wasn't giving it to him. You understand? Keep going.
Another one cut. 147, Psalms 147 and 20. And as for his judgments, he has not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
Right. Read verse 20 again.
Another one cut. Psalms 147 and verse 20. He has not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
Right, that's the key part. It says, as for the judgments, they have not known them. You understand? Meaning, because they wasn't given the law, statutes, and commandments, they don't know the punishment that comes from not keeping them. How can you punish somebody that don't know what they're doing? You understand? That's how we know Cornelius was not, you know what I mean, an Edomite, man. He was not a Roman. You understand? Keep reading.
Cut one cut. 140 Psalms 147 and 20. And as for his judgment, they have not known them.
Right.
Praise ye the Lord.
Right. Give me Amos 3 and start at verse 1. Give me Amos 3 and 1. You understand? The other nations was not given the law, statutes, and commandments. There's no way Cornelius could be an Edomite, could be a so-called Caucasian, the oppressor, you understand, and be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Be fearing the Lord. In the kingdom that we live in now, right, in the time that we live in right now, does the white man fear the Lord, man?
Of course not.
How we know the white man don't fear the Lord? Go ahead. There's so many things you could bring up. Go ahead.
Take everything out the water, just supposed to clean the water, say eat it.
Exactly, man.
Homosexuality.
You understand? The white man promote homosexuality, man. He don't fear the Lord, man. You understand? The white man destroys the Lord's children. They don't fear the Lord, man. You understand? These other nations don't fear the Lord. They don't give a damn about the Lord. You understand? That's why it's for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to realize who they are. Start fearing the Lord, so the Lord name can be spread throughout the earth, man. So we can get the rulership that we, you know what I mean, that the Lord put us up to get, to receive when he made us. You understand? When he chose us over all the other nations. Shalom, Lord Christ. Somebody just called in?
Salaki, sir. Young man Willie. Y'all about to y'all shot Brock.
Yeah, about some y'all shot bracket. All right, I got you down. All right, you understand? You got that from me, Amos 3 and 1? Oh, Shanae, I got you down too. So is this you tonight?
No, sir.
Oh, you got your husband?
Wait. Yeah, he's on mine.
All right, Most High in Christ.
He's on top.
You got that from me, Amos chapter 3, verse 1? You got that from me, Keith? Go ahead.
The book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken on the children of Israel.
Right, this is the word that, stop right there. This is the word that the Lord spoken to the children of Israel, man. Not to everybody else, to the children of Israel. Keep going.
Amos 3:1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family, which I brought up out of the Salakia, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
Right. Only us have the Lord known out of all the families of the earth, man. Out of all these nations, the Lord didn't know no other nation, man. What's one thing we know about the Lord? This might be it's not a hard question, but you gotta understand where I'm coming from. The Lord said that only us have we known. Just off of this, I'm gonna get more into it and proving that Cornelius is an Israelite, that he was not a white man. But what's one thing we know just off the simple fact that the Lord said only you have I known? No, brother, young man Kiva, you said Salaki, I'm gonna let you go.
So you referring to the Lord, he's very specific.
Yeah, he's very specific. That's true. You onto it though. It's around there. It's something. Okay. You onto it. You said Salaki, go ahead. You want to try?
Yeah, I was gonna say he made us the best athletes on the planet.
Right, he made us the best. Okay, I'm trying to see where I can word this question. Okay, the Lord said that only us have we known, right? He only gave us the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? So now, why do Christians think that happened, but now everybody else got it? What do we know about the Lord that will cut that off? What do we know about the Lord that will nip that in the bud?
He changed not.
The Lord changed not, man. You understand? Pull me Malachi 3 and 6. If the Lord said that that's how he is, what makes us think that he's going to change? The Lord does not change, man. That's how the Lord wanted to set it. The Lord don't make mistakes. That's how the Lord set it up from the beginning, man. You understand? The Lord set it up there to be that way because that's how he wanted it. He didn't want other nations worshiping him. He wanted the other nations to be under us. That's what he wanted. He's looked at us. He's seen that we was righteous for him to choose. You understand that we was the ones that's going to be ruling on earth, and he said, well, they need people to serve them. That's why he made all the other nations, man. What it say? It say in the scriptures, the Lord made the world for our sakes. You understand? Read some. You got that from me? You got that from Malachi 3 and 6? Read that. Hold on, I'm going to have a brother right here read it.
The book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
Right. This is the Lord speaking, man. He changes not. He don't change. And it's so important that he don't change because that's why we still here. That's why we still have a chance to come back to his covenant, man. This wasn't given to other people. You understand? We fell from the first covenant. But you know what? The Lord knew that he promised Abraham and his children to be an everlasting seed forever. And he didn't change from that. That's a great thing, man. We as Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans need to stop trying to give this to other nations, man. When is we going to have something on ourselves? When we see Cornelius, why do we assume that, well, this great man is an Edomite? It's like we damn near just trying to find anybody in the Bible that we could praise to be an Edomite, man. Which is a damn shame. But the Lord don't change. The Lord said he only dealt with Israel, man. Go ahead.
I got another precept on the Lord changes not.
Go ahead.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 45. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begot in your land, and they shall be your possession. Verse 46. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule over one another with rigor.
Right, man. That's a perfect precept because those other nations, those strangers, those other nations that the Lord, have us dealing with, they are our possession, man. That's what they supposed to be. Not being on an equal playing field on us, not getting the blessings that the Lord given us. No, they supposed to be under us, man. They supposed to be a possession to us, man. You understand? Property. You understand? That's the position that they belong in. Not being equal to us, none of that, man. You understand? That's a great precept that you pulled, young man. Let me see. Give me back to Acts. We're gonna go back to Acts. It said, because give me Acts 10 and 1. Read that again, or 10 and 2. We're gonna go back to Acts.
Okay. Book of Acts, chapter 10, verse 2. A devout man and one that feared God with all his house.
Right. It say that he's a devout man. That's another key word. What does it mean to be devout? Okay. When you hear in this time period, you'll hear devout. Oh, he was a devout Muslim or a devout Christian or a devout Catholic. What are they normally saying when he was a devout, Muslim or something like that? You said, Salaki, go ahead.
Committed.
Committed, right? Meaning that he, when you see a devout Muslim, you see someone who, get on their knees 3 times a day and pray to Allah and, all that. They serious. It would seem like they are serious about, what they serving. So for him to be a devout man that feared the Lord, he was devout. He was serious. He was committed to serving the Lord, man. There's no other nation that's going to be committed to serving the Lord. Only Israelites is going to be committed being devout Jews, being devout men that's willing to serve the Lord. And I'm going to pull a precept. Give me Acts 2 and 5. Even when you hear him being a devout man, that's a key word to let you know that was an Israelite. He was not a Roman, man. He was not a heathen. You understand? Somebody got that from me? Acts 2 and 5.
Acts chapter 2.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Kiva, you can read it. Go ahead.
The book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men.
Right, there was, stop right there. It said it was dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, man. Israelites, Jews, devout men. You understand? Only Jews is devout men. You understand? It even gets even more specific on it to let people know that when it's talking about a Jew or an Israelite, just because you live in a different land don't mean that you a heathen, man. You understand? Keep reading on that. Read that from the top.
The book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men of every nation under heaven.
Right, out of every nation under heaven. So when it said every nation, is that talking about it was just, people, heathens that was in every nation? Why we know it's not talking about that? Go ahead.
It's not talking about heathens in every nation. It's talking about the Israelites that's been scattered amongst the nations of the earth.
Exactly.
It goes back to the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28, and I think it's verse 54 where he says to scatter the people.
Right, exactly, man. You understand? That's exactly right. But just before that, even more simpler, it says Jews, dwelling in Jerusalem, Jews, devout men, out of every nation, man. You understand? That's what Cornelius was, a Jew that was living in Rome, that was a part of the Roman military. Just like we have a brother that goes into the military right here in America. He's in the American Army. He's in the American military, American Air Force, Navy. But it's still a brother, man. You understand? And now after reading this, we're going to get more into Acts. But what about Paul? Was Paul a Roman? Give me...
Yes, sir.
Hold on, give me 1 second. Give me Acts 22 and 25. Give me Acts 22 and 25. You said Salakia? Why you pulling that? You said Salakia?
Con out of one con. The Apostle Paul was a Benjamite, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
All right. We gonna remember that you said that. You understand? But we gonna get Acts 22 and 25 because this is another thing that we gotta realize, man. You understand? Well, I'm not gonna give it away, but we gonna pull this verse. Somebody got that Acts 22 and 25? Go ahead.
Acts chapter 22, verse 25. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and condemn?
Right. So Paul is getting bound, man. You understand? Paul is about to go under the judges to get judged. You understand? They captured Paul and they was about to, they probably wanted to kill Paul. You know what I'm saying? But when the centurion caught Paul, Paul said, is it lawful for you to bound a Roman? Paul just called himself a Roman. Did he not? Go ahead.
A place for everything.
You damn right about that, but
can't just go out and say, well, I'm this and I'm that, and they gonna do this and do that to you. So you gotta blend in when you got to.
Right, but even more, think about it in today's time. Like Paul just called himself a Roman. Now, you know what I mean? The brother said he a Benjamite, but Paul out of his mouth just said he was a Roman. Keep reading.
26, Acts chapter 22, verse 26. When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman.
Right. He said before he said the centurion went to the captain, the chief, and was like, well, be careful on grabbing him up and, doing anything with him. He's a Roman. You understand? This is a Roman right here. Keep going.
Acts chapter 22, verse 27. Then the chief captain came and said unto him, tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, yeah.
Right. Then he asked Paul himself and said, are you a Roman? Paul said, yeah, I'm a Roman. Keep going.
Verse 28. And the chief captain answered, with the great sum obtained I this freedom. And Paul said, but I was freeborn.
Right. So the chief captain is asking him, you know what I mean? How did you obtain this freedom? Paul said, no, I was born this way. You understand? I didn't. So what is he saying right there?
Salaki, I was born in Rome. I'm a Roman citizen.
Right. He's saying he was born in Rome. That would be like a Hispanic brother that come over to America, but they was born in Mexico. Now, what would immigration do to them? You know what I mean? They'll grab them because they think what? They're not an American. You're not an American. You're not from here. So they grab them. They'll put them in a detention center, do all types of things they do down there in them detention centers to them children. They say in them detention centers that damn near 90% of them children is getting molested, man. You understand? Because of what? They're not an American citizen. So what Paul is saying is Paul's not saying that he's a Roman, meaning he's a Caucasian, he's an Edomite. He's saying he's a citizen of Rome, man. You understand? Paul said that's just like us getting caught. If you got caught by immigration, would you not say, I'm an American? Like, what you mean? You're not going to be like, I'm an Israelite. They're going to be like, what the hell is an Israelite? You know what I mean? You're going to be like, I'm an American citizen. Here's my paper. Here's my license. You know what I mean? I'm an American citizen, man. Even when you signing up on a job application or you doing that, they ask you, are you a citizen or not like a non-American immigrant? What do you put? You put you're an American citizen, man. Because you born in America. But just because we born in America don't mean we white, man. You said don't mean that we Caucasian. You tell somebody that you're American, their first thought is not going to be, oh, he got to be Caucasian. Because they know that it's different type of people, different type of nationalities that's living in America. Same thing with Rome. It was different type of it was brothers that were living in Rome. Go ahead.
If I could say, even America know it different ethnic groups, even though they label what they want to label as, to fill out a job application, any kind of application, you have to put this on. A lot of years, sir.
Right, exactly. And going back to what the brother said, so the brother said, young man Willie said that he was a Benjamite. Anybody got a precept for that? Because he was a Benjamite, man. He was just a Roman citizen. You understand? Just like he said, just like the brother said right here, it's a time and place for everything. They was trying to bow him up. So of course he says he's a Roman citizen because he's a Roman citizen, man. He knows that there's certain ways that you got to do according to the law because he's a Roman citizen. You understand? It's you being smart. You know, you hear a brother. You understand? Because the Bible say what? It say to be wise as a serpent, smooth as a dove. So you hear some of the fake Israelite groups that like it's a situation where a brother got, the police is trying to harass the brother or something like that, and the brother start talking about, oh, he's American, oh, I'm American, I'm American. You'll hear a fake Israelite be like, oh, look, the white man done shamed him. You know what I mean? Oh, he's scared to admit that he an Israelite. This, that. No, that's not. That's none of that is going on, man. What's going on is he's being smart. He knows what he knows what the oppressor wants him to say. The oppressor wants you to say stuff that's going to condemn you. It's like Commander General Yahanna when he did that interview when they had that crazy black man shoot up the Jew at the kosher deli. A lot of people was looking at Commander General Yahanna video talking about oh, look at him, he acting this, he doing this. You know what I mean? As if he not like because the white man, if you didn't watch it, the white man, the oppressor, he was trying to get Commander General Yahanna to say he hate white people. Like, I hate white people, this and that, so he can condemn us. But Commander General Yahanna, being way smarter than that, didn't say that. You understand? And other people would see that and be like, oh, look, they're agents. Oh, that's why they're a 501c3. They can't say they hate. No, what you don't realize is being smart. You understand? Paul understood this. That's why Paul said he was a Roman. You understand? He's not lying. He is a Roman. But that's not his bloodline. We're going to get his bloodline. Anybody know the precept? You got it?
Romans 11:1.
Right. Give me that.
Romans chapter 11, verse 1. I say then, has God cast away his people?
Right. Stop right there. Now, that's the important part, too, with this whole Cornelius breakdown. Because when people say that Cornelius is a heathen, a Roman, or oppressor, what are they saying? What are they really saying? Because in the Christian mindset, they'll say, oh, well, yeah, Cornelius was the first heathen. He was the first Roman to be not Israel, to be accepted in. In their mindset, they thinking what? Now you got to be what? Go ahead.
John 3:16 is for everyone.
Right, they think it's for everyone, John 3:16, but they think in their mind that you got to be a...
White man.
Okay, you onto it. But what's the word that Christians use now to justify, Gentiles being saved? They say that I don't want to give it away.
Washed away in the blood of Jesus.
They say that too. They say that too. Okay, I'm trying to see how to not give it away. Okay.
Slovakia.
Go ahead. Maybe you know it. You get what you know. Go ahead.
Grafted in.
And how are you grafted in? You become a
spiritual Israelite.
A spiritual Israelite, man. That's what they say. They say, well, it ain't got nothing to do with Israelites no more. You know what they saying when they say they ain't got nothing to do with Israelite by bloodline?
God don't care about his people.
They saying that God cast away his people. That's what they saying. They said, Israelites done fell. Y'all didn't accept Christ. God done away with y'all. Now anybody can become an Israelite. You can just become a spiritual Israelite. But what did Paul say? Read that again.
Romans 11:1. I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid.
God forbid. John said, I say then. He asked the question. This is the question. Did God cast away his people? God forbid, man. What does God forbid mean? Hell no. God didn't cast away his people, man. Don't think that Cornelius is an Israelite. Cornelius is a heathen because God done did away with Israelites, and it don't matter no more if you an Israelite or not. No, it still matters, man. Your bloodline still matters. From Abraham, Isaac to Jacob, your seed still matters, man. You understand? That's damn near the only importance that we got in this earth now being Black, Hispanic, and Native American anyway, man. You understand? We naturally don't inherit nothing from our fathers. You know what I mean? Because they ain't got nothing to give us. Everybody else got lands, businesses, all types of things to inherit. Black people we just trying to find a way to survive in our lifetime, man. You know what I mean? Our children just gonna have to do the same thing. We don't set up anything for each other. But the moment that we realize that we got something that to inherit that's greater than anything on the earth, we got the world to inherit. From Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we now got to try to fit in another nation that don't need to be fit in no way, man. You understand? But he said, God forbid. Keep going.
Romans 11:1. I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid. For I
It's to the
also
left.
am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham of the tribe of Benjamin.
Right. Paul gets specific, man. He's first of all he tells you that he's an Israelite from Abraham, man, from Abraham's seed. And then he even gets more specific from the tribe of Benjamin, man. That's saying he from Jacob. You understand? That's what Paul was. Now, one verse we got Paul saying he was a Roman, but out his mouth he just said he was a Benjamite, man. You understand? Showing you that you can be living in another area and be called that, but that don't mean that that's your nationality, man. You understand? He can be a part of the Italian band. He can be in the Roman military, but that doesn't automatically qualify him as to being a Roman. You understand? You can have a black brother or a Hispanic brother or a black sister, a Hispanic sister be in the white man's military. You know what I mean? They can have some type of rank. That don't mean that they white. You understand? That don't. You gotta show with other verses of how he's a heathen, man. Because I'm showing other verses of how he's not a heathen, devout man. You understand? Showing Paul was called a Roman, but was he a Roman? No, he was a Benjamite, man. You understand? But we about to go back into Acts. Give me back to Acts 10. So we're gonna get into the story on Acts 10 and 9. So we're gonna start at verse 9. So with this story, we see Cornelius, devout man, one that feared the Lord. Now Cornelius get this vision to go to Peter. You know what I mean? It say Simon, which was his slave name, but his name was Peter. You understand? So Cornelius is going to Peter and inquiring of Peter for a certain reason. And like I said, you got to all remember, Peter didn't want to accept uncircumcised men. He didn't want to accept the Gentiles, the Israelites that was called Gentiles because they grew up in another nation. And that's why he ended up having a vision. So we're going to jump down to Peter's vision that he had, which I know a brother asked about a couple of months ago. A brother asked this question, and I'm going to get back into this question too. And because you got to deal with that question too. But give me, start at Acts 10 and 9. I'm going to pull it for you. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it with you. All right, you got it, Acts 10 and 9. Start, read that if you got, when you got it, young man, Ryan.
Acts 10 and 9. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour.
Right, so we got, she said on the morrow, which was, the next day, when they was on the journey. So Peter's on a journey, and when he drew nigh to the city, Peter went upon the housetop to pray. Now we gonna realize Peter ended up getting hungry, which is gonna say, and then he gonna fall into a trance. Well, we gonna read. Just keep reading. It's gonna say it.
Acts 10, verse 10. And he became very hungry, and would have eaten. But while they made ready, he fell into a trance. Right.
So, a lot of times where you at home and you get hungry or whatnot, you got your rib or somebody cooking, and you might just fall asleep a little bit. You know what I mean? That's what happened to Peter. While he was waiting, he was hungry. He just fell to a trance. He just fell to a light sleep. You know what I mean? Waiting for the food. Keep going.
Acts 10, verse 11. And saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descended unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners, and let down to the earth. Right,
so now he started to get a vision. Peter seen the sky open, he started seeing a vision. Now remember, he's hungry. So this ties into his vision that he's having. Keep going.
Acts 10, verse 12. Wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air.
Right. Keep going.
13. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat.
Right. So while Peter's seeing all these beasts, their voice came from his dream and said, Rise, Peter, kill it and eat it. You understand? So it's telling what? Peter to do what? To kill one of these beasts and eat it. Now Christians, when they read this verse, what do they think this is talking about? Go ahead.
People, as far as people, or food. They think it's talking, as far as I know, they think it's talking about you can eat shrimp, crab, pork, lobster.
Right, right, exactly. It's going to get more into it, but when Christians hear this verse, they think that this verse is like, well, they can eat shrimp, crab, pork, lobster. They can eat all that. But we're going to realize that's not what this verse is talking about at all, man. You understand? Keep going.
Acts 10, verse 14. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, For I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean.
Right, that's what Peter said. Peter said, not so. I'm not about to rise to eat these beasts. You know what I mean? Beasts and fowls, all the things that are saying in Leviticus that you can't eat. He like, the voice is telling him to rise to eat this. He like, not so. I've never ate anything unclean or common. Meaning he have never ate anything unclean, man. You understand? He followed the dietary law. That's what Peter did. Peter followed the dietary law. You understand? Keep going.
Acts 10 verse 15. And the voice spake unto him again the second time. What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common.
Right. That's what Christians hear that. Christians hear that. They say, well, God cleansed. Don't call it common or unclean. If God's cleansed it, that's what they do when they got their ham on the table for Christmas praying over it. They praying over it because they believing that prayer is God cleansing that ham. That's not what this verse is talking about, man. You understand? This verse is not talking about, what is this verse talking about?
People.
Go ahead.
Israelite.
It's
Gentile Israelite. Gentile-minded Israelite.
Right. This is what that's talking about. It's talking about Israelites, man. You understand? You got anybody got a precept for this?
It's the one in Hosea.
You got the one in Hosea. Give me pull Ezekiel 37 and 15. Young man Willie, pull me you there, young man Willie? Give me Ezekiel 37, 15.
It's lovely, sir. I'm driving at the moment.
All right, ain't no sweat. You got that for me, Kevian?
I'm getting out, sir.
I got a brother right here. Got it.
Ezekiel 37.
I know you got it. All right, go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 37 and 15. The word of the Lord came again to me, saying, verse 15, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it, for Judah and the children of Israel his companion. Then take another stick and write upon it, for Joseph the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel his companion.
Right, so this class goes into the classes that I've been doing for the last 2 weeks, man. Showing that in the Bible, the Gentiles is the Israelites. You understand? Them Gentiles that is talking about coming back to the truth, you know what I mean, being under Christ, is talking about Israelites, man. And that's what Cornelius is, a Gentile, but he's an Israelite, man. You understand? But it says you're going to take the stick of Judah, you understand, the stick of Ephraim, and keep going.
Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 17. And join them one to another, and to one stick, and they shall become one in thy hand.
Right. Join these sticks to one stick, and they shall become one stick in thy hand, man. You understand? The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is going to come back together and be one nation. We no longer going to be Puerto Ricans, Colombians, Haitians. We just going to be Israelites, man. You understand? And this is what we need, because what? We see the most hatred between a race in us. Black on black crime, you know what I mean? Hispanic on Hispanic crime. You understand? We the ones that swear that we just not the same, but we go through the same problems as each other. You understand? But there's going to come a time, and that's what Christ came to teach. Bringing us back together. Becoming that one stick. Becoming one nation. That's what's going on with Cornelius and Peter right now. Peter didn't want to accept the uncircumcised. But Cornelius was the uncircumcised that he ends up accepting. Keep going.
Ezekiel chapter 37 and 18. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not shew us what thou meanest by these?
Right, you understand? The people that was there, because we knew what back in this time, what did we do know? What did we know? That once you got cast out, you ain't coming back. Once the Lord done outcast you, you can't be amongst the people. There was no coming back. There was no reconciliation. You understand? That's what Peter thought in his mind. I'm not dealing with uncircumcised people. You understand? That's what was going on with Cornelius and them. They was cast out. So the people in Jerusalem, the brothers in Jerusalem, wasn't trying to deal with them. They considered themselves, them Gentiles, you another nation. But really they was Israelites, man. You understand that Christ came to bring us back together. Keep going.
37 and 19. Say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will take the stink of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel his fellows, and will pit them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand.
Right, bringing the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans back together, man. Keep going.
Third one comes, Ezekiel chapter 37 and 20. And the stench whereon thou writest shall be in thy hand before thy eyes. Verse 21. And say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land.
Right, you understand? Wherever we be gone. Cornelius was in Rome. He was a part of their military, man. You understand? You telling me a brother that was in the military of America can't come into the truth? He can, man. You understand? That's what Christ came for. For those brothers that was in the military. There's brothers in the military right now that swear they serving, you know, America. They doing righteous. They serving God. They swear they serving God by being in the American military. You understand? But those brothers need to have a chance to be able to come into the truth too, man. You understand? You know what I.S.U.P.K say. You know what Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge say. We want all the brothers that went through the worst of life, man. That's in jail. You know what I mean? That soldiers. We want those brothers to change their lives, man. You understand? We want all our people to have a chance to change their lives and come into the truth. You understand? Keep going.
Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 22. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. And one king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more two nations. Neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all.
Right. Now we know this is talking about the two kingdoms, the southern and the northern kingdom. And it said they shall not be two nations, but be one nation. That's why you got brothers coming out of all the nations. Because we not the same nation no more, but it's still all Israelites, man. It's not talking about being joined with white people. It's not talking about being joined with Arabs, with Chinese. It's not talking about being joined with people that's not your brother or your sister, man. You understand? Keep going.
Ezekiel 37 and 23. Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them.
And will what?
So shall
Hold on. And will what?
And will cleanse them.
And will what?
And will cleanse them.
And will cleanse them, man. You understand? That's what they was talking about in Peter's dream. When the Lord cleansed, thou call not thou common or clean. Because the Lord cleansed us, man. This is talking about people. They ain't talking about the Lord cleansing some unclean food. You can't cleanse pig, man. Pig is unclean. You can't cleanse shrimp. You understand? But you know what you can do? You can cleanse a brother that was once in the world serving another God. You can cleanse a brother that was once in the world smoking cigarettes, smoking weed. You can cleanse a brother that was in the world messing with hoes. That's what you can cleanse. You ain't going to be able to cleanse shrimp, man. The Lord made it unclean.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
And it also ties down to, the way General Muhammad broke down 316. That also, they cut that out too, like that you know what I'm saying? Don't they hand in hand with that, sir? Like,
yeah, it definitely does, man. You understand? Because with John 3 and 16, that's for the brothers that was once murderers, man. You understand? That's for the brothers that was in the world that was doing things that they shouldn't been doing. That's for them to be able to get another chance to come into the truth. Serve the Lord. You understand? Help the people out, man. Yes, it's not for no other nation. And no other nation gave a damn about black, Hispanic, and Native Americans anyway, man. You'll find out that them other nations, them other Hebrew Israelite groups that allow them other nations to come in really don't give a damn about them, man. They feasting off of you. They look at you as being a sucker. it ain't like they really care about you. That's why you got Hamites killing sisters in other groups, man. You understand? It's damn near, it's nonsense. But the Lord, read that part again. It says, and will what?
And will cleanse them.
Keep going.
So shall they be my people, and I will be their God.
Right, this goes into what the brother said in Hosea. That's what it's saying in Hosea. I'll be a people to them. I mean, they will be my people, and I shall be their God. You understand? But in order for that to happen, you got to be cleansed. You got to rid yourself of the nasty things that you was doing in the world. You know, Shalom Lord Christ. Anybody just called in? Somebody called in? Anybody that I didn't get that called in?
Like you say, young man, you called earlier though.
Yeah, I seen you. I got you down. Anybody else?
Okay.
All right, no sweat. But that's what the Lord was talking about with doubt, what He has cleansed. You understand? Somebody got to pull a precept where the Lord cleansed. Like, if you think that this is talking about the Lord cleansing shrimp, lobster, and pork, pull a precept where the Lord said He cleansed that. If you can't pull a precept where He said that He cleansed that, then you just talking at your ass, man. Salaki, you know what I mean? You give me 1 second. You lean into your own understanding. You gotta have. It says line upon line, precept upon precept for everything. I say that when I read this verse, I see him cleansing Cornelius, which was once serving other gods, which was once in the world. You know what I mean? Was cast away. I won't say he was serving other gods because it say Cornelius was what? A devout man, one that feared the Lord. But he was cast out. He was considered a Gentile from being raised up in the Roman area. You understand? But the Lord said that He cleansed them, and they can come back into the truth. You said something, Kibia?
I had a question. That when you say as a Christian, show a precept on like where the Lord said He was talking about food.
Right.
Because you also could another way to cut them also be like, okay, if Peter following Yahanna with Jesus Christ as they know, show me a precept where the Lord started dealing with Peter to change laws and stuff like that.
You saying show a verse where the Lord dealt with Peter that told him to change stuff? Yeah, you won't find that, man. Yeah, you're not gonna find that because we read earlier that what about the Lord? What did we read about the Lord earlier? Right, that He don't change, man. That's what we read earlier. We read that the Lord don't change, man. You understand? What the Lord say is solid. It's what goes. You understand? But we know that when Peter got this vision, and he said, without cleanse, don't call that uncommon, it was talking about Cornelius, man, being a brother, being cleansed right here in Ezekiel from once being a castaway and now able to come back to be the Lord's people. You understand? Give me back to Acts 10, and what was that? We left at 9, or did we read a little bit more than that? Yeah, we was at verse 14. Give me verse 15. Yeah, give me verse 15.
Acts 10, verse 15. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. Acts 10, verse 16. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Acts 10, 17.
Read that verse that you read just again.
Acts 10, verse 16.
Hold on, give me 1 second. I got somebody online that said a Gentile is a European point blank. A Hebrew can never be a Gentile. Give me somebody, hold where you at and give me Ephesians 2 and 11. Somebody give me Ephesians 2 and 11. Go ahead.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 11.
Now, hold on. Before you give me this is to prove that Israelites can be Gentiles. Because he said online that Hebrews was never Gentiles and can't be. And he said he'll prove it to me. Now, you won't be able to prove it to me because you're a damn lie. But I can prove to you. But I can prove to you how Israelites was called Gentiles. Read that, Kevin.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 11. Wherefore, remember that ye, being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcised.
Right. Now this is talking to Israelites, and it said, "Wherefore, remember what?"
Who are called uncircumcision.
No, it said, "Wherefore, remember that ye, being in time past." Keep going.
Gentiles in flesh.
Right. It says, "Wherefore, remember that being in time past, you were Gentiles in the flesh," man. You understand? This is talking about Israelites in the past time being Gentiles, man. What do you mean that Israelites couldn't be Gentiles when the verse in Ephesians say it right here? Keep going.
Who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hand.
Right. Keep going. Read the next verse.
Ephesians chapter 2, verse 12. That are that time ye were without Christ, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel.
Right, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, man. It's talking about Israelites, man. It's not talking about no other nations. You understand what you mean that you couldn't be no Israelite? You couldn't be Israelites wasn't called Gentiles. You understand? We was called Gentiles at a point of time, man. Keep going.
Verse 12. And strangers from the covenant of promise, having no hope and without Yahweh in the world.
Right, being strangers from the covenant, man. Because we fell from it. Because we decided to be with these other nations. You understand? So that cut that right there, man. You understand? We gonna go back to what we saying. Give me what we left off at. We back in Acts. Give me Acts 10 and 15.
Acts 10, verse 15. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common.
Right. What the Lord spake to him, saying, "What God cleansed," what we just read. God cleansed the northern tribe. God cleansed us that fell from the first covenant. God cleansed us that decided that we was gonna serve other gods and got cast out. Those are the people that God cleansed, man. Keep going.
Acts 10, verse 17. No, Acts 10, verse 16. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Acts 10, 17. Now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made an inquiry for Simon's house and stood before the gate.
All right, no problem. Hey, brother-in-law, I'm going to ask you this question right here. Can a stranger be an Israelite? Answer that for me. Can a stranger be an Israelite? I want you to answer that question for me. You're talking a lot of nonsense that don't make sense. Can a stranger be an Israelite? Read that again while he answered that question.
Acts 10, verse 17. Now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made an inquiry for Simon's house.
Right, so he's showing him what the vision means. He had the vision that told him to rise up and eat the unclean beast. Christians think it's talking about food, but the Lord is telling him what the vision means. And when he said to give him what the vision means, what happened? Men had rose up to come ask for him, man. It's showing you that vision that happened thrice was the three men that was with Cornelius, including Cornelius, man. You understand? Keep going.
Acts 10, verse 18. And called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, were lodged there.
Right, and they was asking for Simon, which was a slave name, but his name was Peter. You know what I mean? Just like when you come to the truth, you got your slave name and then you get a Hebrew name. You understand? Keep going.
Acts 10, verse 19. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, Behold, 3 men seek thee.
Right, behold, 3 men seek thee. So he's about to tell him the Cornelius and them that's seeking him. Keep going.
Verse 20. Arise therefore and get thee down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them.
Keep going.
21. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, Behold, I am he whom he seek. which is the cause wherefore he are come.
Keep going.
Acts 10 verse 22. And they said Cornelius, the centurion, a just man, and one that feared God, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews, was warned from God by an holy angel to send for thee into his house, and to hear words of thee.
Right. Again, once again, it say a just man. You understand? One that fears the Lord. To fear the Lord is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We read earlier that another nation was not given the law, statutes, and commandments. In Psalms 147, it say only Israel was given the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? A just man. That's other key words to show you that the Lord never referred to another nation being a just man, being a righteous man. The Lord never referred to anybody other than an Israelite to being a just or a righteous man. Anyone else that says otherwise, you probably got Becky laying somewhere, man. You probably got some type of white friend that you trying to save. You swear up and down your white friend is the one that's gonna get saved. Yeah, you know, Gentiles is the heathens. And I just so happen to have my friend that he just, you know what I mean? You that brother, man. You understand? You that brother that don't like your people, man. Go ahead.
Lucky, I got a precept for the Gentiles being called Israelites.
Go ahead, read it.
It's in 2 Corinthians. Let me get it.
Ain't no sweat. Why that brother pulling that, you keep reading?
Acts 10 verse 23. Then called he them in and lodged them. And on the morrow, Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa, that's right, brother?
Yeah,
Accompany him.
Right, you understand? So now Peter, they come to Peter, you understand, and they called him in and they lodged him. So Peter lodged him. You're going to realize Peter say something that even gives you more further understanding that those was Israelites, man. That it wasn't another nation. You understand? Keep going.
Acts 10 verse 24. And the morrow after they enter into Caesarea, and Cornelius waited for them and had called together his kinsmen and near friends.
Keep going.
25. And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshipped him.
Right, you understand? So you'll see a lot of times when you see a man of the Lord, you know what I mean? A lot of times like that, you know what I mean, especially back then, they'll know that, damn, you serve the Lord. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they fell to his feet, you know what I mean? But you realize Peter said, you know, he just a man. Keep reading.
Acts 10 verse 26. But Peter took him up, saying, stand up. I myself also am a man.
Right, you understand? Peter was like, no, I'm not God. You know what I mean? Stand up, I'm a man too. You know what I'm saying? Salute the brother. And they talking. Keep going.
Acts 10 verse 27. As he taught with him, he went in and found many that were come together.
Keep going.
28.
And it's the verse right here that shows you even furthermore that it was Israelite.
Acts 10 verse 28. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company, or come unto one of another nation. But God has shewed me that I could not call any man common or unclean.
Right, you understand? Meaning, this is an Israelite, man. You understand? God showed him the understanding, the dream, that the Lord cleansed the Israelites in other nations, man. You understand? That's what the Lord did. The Lord cleansed the other nations, man. Because he's saying it was not common for a Jew to accompany somebody from another nation. But what did they realize? He wasn't from another nation. He was an Israelite, man. You understand? That was a brother that was considered a Gentile because he grew up in their areas, but he's not literally from another nation. He's not no heathen, man. He's not no Roman. You understand? That was Peter realizing, okay, Paul was right. You understand? When Paul said that we supposed to accept them back in, we are supposed to accept them back in, man. You understand? Otherwise, what? We wouldn't be in here. If that was the case, if Peter got how he wanted to be, we wouldn't be in here, man. We couldn't have a chance. Was we born in Jerusalem? Was we born in Israel? No, we wasn't. You understand? We will be considered Gentiles before we came into the truth, man. You understand? Anything that say otherwise, you just hucking and jiving for the white man. You understand? That's all you want. As a matter of fact, give me Oh, you got that precept? Go ahead.
1 Corinthians 12:2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led.
Right. It said what? Read that. That's a perfect precept for that. Read that again. Tell them where you at.
1 Corinthians 12:2. I'm going to start at 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led.
Right. It said brethren, man. When it's talking about brethren, it's talking about your brothers and sisters, which is Israelites. And it says, you know that ye were Gentiles, carried away by dumb idols, man. You understand? Gentiles are just meaning you serving some other nation. You doing what other nations do, and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, man. Another precept, man. Read that again. That's a great precept right there.
1 Corinthians 12:1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Verse 2.
I will not have you ignorant, man. You understand? Because you ignorant right now, thinking that we was not Gentiles at one point. But he said, I will not have you ignorant, man. Keep going.
Verse 2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles.
Right, we was Gentiles, man. We was Gentiles, man. You understand? Give me we gonna move on. Give me pull Matthew 15-22. We're gonna go into how Christ felt about white people, man. You know what I mean? How he felt about Greeks and Romans. He was not trying to get them into the kingdom, man. You understand? That's some buffoonery that some Uncle Tom Negro came up with to be joined hand in hand with his enemies, man. The Lord, the Bible calls them our enemies. How now they accepted them to be brothers with us? When the Bible calls them enemies, man. Are you telling me the Lord changed? They not our enemies no more? You just don't know what the hell you talking about, man. Keep going.
2 Corinthians?
Yeah, no, give me give me Matthew 15-22.
I got it coming.
Go ahead.
Matthew 15-22. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast, and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil.
Right, now, it said a woman of Canaan. What is this woman's nationality? This might be a trick question, but what is her nationality? And if you know what it is, you gotta give me a precept if you answer this question. Hold on, somebody online said Salakia? On a conference call, somebody said Salakia? You took it back? I asked for the precept. You was like, never mind.
I ain't got the precept, but I thought Salakia.
You can paraphrase it if you know it. You can paraphrase it.
Salakia.
Go ahead.
She was a so-called Edomite. I can't remember the precept, but it said she was a Syrophoenician by nation.
Okay, you're right. You just got a little twisted up, but you're right. You understand? You like to say something? You got something?
I was gonna say the lady was a white woman, I thought, but I thought her daughter might have came from a Jew man. But I don't got no precept for that.
Nah, she was a white woman. You know what I mean? Right. It say when you hear the land of Canaan, we know the Canaanites is Africans. Right. But you understand, we know that the white man was living in Canaan. Alexander the Great was living in Canaan. You understand? But they was white men. But just like the brother said, she was a Syrophoenician. Somebody hold this and pull Mark 7-26. Hold this and pull Mark 7:26. We gonna show you in the Bible that she was a Greek, man. She was an Edomite, what you call a Syrophoenician, Canaanite by Salakia. It's gonna read it. I forgot. I think it said Canaanite by nature, but it might say Syrophoenician by nature.
Come on, I got it.
Go ahead.
Mark chapter 7 verse 26. The woman was a Greek.
Right. The woman was a what?
Was a Greek.
Was a what?
A Greek.
The woman was a Greek, man. Keep going.
A Syrophoenician by nature.
A Syrophoenician by nature. The brother was right. A Syrophoenician by nature. Syrophoenician is Canaanite. You know what I mean? By nature would mean that's where she was born at. You know what I mean? That's where she lived at. You know what I mean? We will be Americans by nature. but we're Israelites. You understand? We, Yahweh, Levi, whatever tribe you from. But Americans by nature, because we was born in America. So she was a Syrophoenician by nature, but she was a what? Read that from the top again.
Mark chapter 7, verse 26. The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation.
Keep going.
And she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter.
Right, the ones that was trying to get the daughter, the devil cast out of her daughter. She was a Greek. Now let's go back to Matthew. All right, give me 1 second. The brother said he's trying to prove that Gentiles is Europeans online. You got to understand context. That's all I'm going to say to you. I'm going to leave you alone. You got to understand context, man. You got to understand context. I mean, if you like I said, if you want to call in cross the line or something like that, where we got a debate type situation going on, you can debate it. But if you're just trying to get some questions answers, we can answer your questions. But you got to understand context, man. If you don't understand context, then you're not going to get the Bible. You understand? There's contexts where a Gentile is an actual heathen. There's also context where a Gentile is an Israelite, man. That's why I asked you, can a stranger be a brother? Because we know strangers to be what? Heathens. But I'm asking you, can a stranger be a brother? You understand? But you got to know context, man. You understand? We going to go back to Matthew.
Come on, let me go.
Go ahead, read when you got it, 15 and 22.
Matthew 15 and 22. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast, and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. Verse 23. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away, for she crieth after us.
Right. Christ's first reaction was to ignore her. He ain't say nothing to her. She said here, hey, help me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you know Christ wasn't just God loves everybody skipping around. Christ's first reaction was to ignore the woman. Like, why are you talking to me? You know what I mean? Keep going.
But he, verse 20, Matthew 15, verse 24. But he answered her and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Verse 26. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. Matthew 15 and 26. But he answered and said, It is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to dogs.
Right, it is not meet. Read that verse again.
Matthew 15 and 26. But he answered and said, It is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to dogs.
What did he just say to the woman?
Call that bitch a dog. Sloppy.
Right, say that again.
Called her a dog.
Right, he called her a dog, man. He said it's not meat for the children to it's not meat to cast the children's food to dogs, man. You understand? Meaning he was sent for Israel. He was sent for Israelites. You understand? But we about to keep reading on what happened, because a lot of people like to use this verse and be like, well, he did da-da-da-da. We're going to get into it, but a lot of Christians like to use this verse, or fake Israelites like to use this verse to prove their point that God came for everybody. But we're going to get into that. Keep going.
Matthew 15 and 27. And she said, Truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Verse 28. Then Jesus answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. Right.
So what Christ do? Christ healed the daughter, right? But what had to happen for him to do that? Go ahead.
She had to say, yeah, I'm a dog. Yeah, y'all the kings.
Right. Damn right. You understand? She had to admit that she was a dog, man. She had to admit that she's not as great as an Israelite. She had to admit that she served Israelites, that she was under them. You understand? It ain't, look, when a black person look at this, he just think this is the most magnificent thing ever. But do not white people do this today? White people do
Salakia,
this.
sir.
Give me 1 second. White people do this to black people today, man. That's how you able to get food stamps. That's what they gave her, food stamps. It's crumbs under the table, man. That's how black people get food stamps. You get WIC. You get Medicaid. You get Medicare. Do black people not get that? Now, we don't get to eat at the table. We don't get the what? What's the saying? The American pie? We don't get none of that pie. But you might get a crumb that fall off after they bit into it. Okay, yeah. Get food stamps. Like, we look at this as if this was something so amazing. Look, he healed her. He gave her food stamps, man. Like, would you want food stamps or you want money to be able to buy any type of food that's right, that's lawful? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what a lot of people get this verse mixed up at. Just because he gave her crumbs, first of all, in order to get it, she had to recognize her position. You understand? That white man that you're trying to save, trust me, he don't recognize his position. He's still looking at you as if you lower than him, man. You understand? He's looking at you as if you are the crap of the earth. You the one that deserve the crumbs. You understand? That's why a lot of people don't realize this, man. Even him reverencing her as a dog. What is a dog to you? I have a dog. You know what my dog does? It protects it either guards my house. It does some type of labor for me. It works for me. You know what I mean? The dog is under me. You either, using a dog to be a shepherd and, keep your flock together. That's what we use dogs back in the days. Or use a dog. Now, black people normally use dogs to protect their house. You know what I mean? When they're away, they expect the dog to bark and, be ready to attack when something happens to their house. That's what the white people be used as. Just something to just do for you while you benefit from it. But it ain't nobody that's on an equal level to you. You understand? Even in the Bible where it say, all nations is going to be blessed. A lot of people, give me, as a matter of fact, pull Genesis 22 and 18. Pull Genesis 22 and 18. You still didn't answer my question, brother. I asked you a simple question, man. Can a stranger be an Israelite? Can a stranger be a brother? Or is a stranger just a Gentile? Is a stranger just a heathen? Or can it be a brother? It's a simple question. It's a damn near yes or no. Yes, they can be. Yes, a stranger can be a brother, or no, we can't. It's all because you said a Gentile is always the heathen, so Gentile can be interchangeable with stranger. So is stranger also the same thing? I mean, we just showed you multiple verses of a Gentile being an Israelite, man. You understand? You just in and out. You like white people, man. What's the Bible? What's the verse say? Though hand be joined hand in hand with the wicked, they shall not go unpunished. You can want to save them all you want, but the Lord got something cooking up for them, man. You understand? The Lord got something cooking up for them. You understand? Read that when you got it. Genesis 22 and 18.
Genesis 22, verse 18. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice.
Right. This is talking about Abraham. He said, in thy seed shall all the nations be blessed. What is this talking about? Go ahead.
I thought I had heard a breakdown where because we were put in slavery in all these nations, we built all of them up.
Okay, that's true. But it's not necessarily the context of this verse. But that's true. You know what I mean? All the other nations was able to build up their kingdoms off of our backs because we fell. But that's not how it's supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? All nations is supposed to be blessed, in other words. But we got to understand the difference between a blessing and salvation, a blessing and a promise. It's a difference, man. And because a lot of other people like to be like, well, all the nations is going to be blessed. All the nations is going to be blessed. What you mean God only loved Israel? What you mean Christ only came for Israel? All the nations is going to be blessed. Yeah, both of those is right. Christ only came for Israel. And all nations is going to be blessed. But what does it mean by this when it says this? If you got a precept, that would be Tawab. What does it mean by this? Anybody on a conference call?
It's logic, sir.
Go ahead.
Sluggy, I didn't catch the verse we were reading.
We had Genesis 22 and 18. Read it one more time for the brother.
Genesis 22, verse 18. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice.
Right. In thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because Abraham had obeyed the Lord's voice. Now, what is this talking about?
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
I don't have the precept in Psalms or Proverbs. It talks about keeping the law, statutes, and commandments is wisdom, and it's going to make the other nations jealous because of the wisdom. They're going to say, where do we get this wisdom from? Salakia.
Okay, what you said is right, but how were the other nations going to be blessed? Go ahead. One of the brothers online said they would be blessed through Israel, but how are they going to be blessed through Israel? Go ahead.
I have a precept in Zechariah 8:23.
Go ahead.
It said, "Thus said the Lord of hosts, in those days shall it come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you."
Okay, that's a precept. That is a good precept. But where is their blessing coming in? That's what the question is. You know what I mean? That's a good precept to show, how you be blessed by being with Israel, by being under Israel, being subjecting to the Israelites. That's how you get a blessing. But how are they going to be blessed? Like I said, other people, give me one second. I heard you online. Fake Christians, fake Israelites and Christians will read this verse and be like, well, see, look, they get salvation. They're going to be blessed like us. But it's not the same. Why is it how are they going to be blessed? It's one specific precept that I'm looking for. But somebody said something online.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
Are you referring to the nation outside of Israel being blessed?
Right. Other nations, heathens.
You mean you talking like the white man heaven, how he got us in captivity, how we built the nation up for him, and he living it up right now. That's what you're referring to.
No, the other. Okay.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
I forget the precept. I think it's in Luke. Their blessing is not getting killed. Christ said, "Bring them hither and slay them before me if they don't want to bow down and serve me." Salakia.
All right. Okay. All y'all is right.
Salakia, sir.
Give me 1 second. All y'all is right, but this brother online, he's a little cuckoo. He's out of his mind. But he said all the nations is going to be blessed through Christ. That's not true. You know what I mean? You don't know what a blessing is. You don't know what you're talking about. But he also said, he gave the verse in Revelations where it said, "After this I beheld a great multitude which no man can number out of all nations." You know all nations is talking about Israelites, right? That's talking about the Israelites out of all nations. We read a verse earlier where it said, "There dwelt in Jerusalem devout men, Jews out of all the nations." You understand? Do not Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans live in all the nations on the earth right now? Do you not got brothers and sisters living in Europe, in Australia? You know what I mean? Africa. I would be careful with the ones in Africa, but it might be some brothers over there. You know what I mean? It might be. You know what I'm saying? It say the four corners, but I know what. It's brothers in Europe, Australia. It might be some brothers in Russia somehow. I don't know how, but it might be some brothers in Russia. That's us being out of all the nations, man. You understand? You got to know context. Like I said, you got to know context, man. You understand? But somebody said Salakia. Kim, you said Salakia?
I was wondering. I think I'm off though, depending on the course how you just explained it. But I was trying to see what Genesis 17 and 19 kind of be a precept. You know what I'm saying? Go tie into what you're talking about.
Read it.
Genesis chapter 17, verse 19. And Yahweh said, "Sarah, thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him."
Okay, that's true, you know what I mean, but that's not more along what I'm getting at. For time's sake, I'll say all the other nations is gonna be blessed because of what we know what the Bible say. Give me Proverbs 29:2. Somebody pull Proverbs 29:2 for me. This is how all the other nations is gonna be blessed. You got it? Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Right. It say when righteous is in authority, you understand? Read that from the top again.
Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Right. When the righteous is in authority, the people rejoice, man. You understand? The brother said, you do know a nation is not a country. Yeah, a nation is not a country, but I do know blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is intermingled with white people. They intermingle with Arabs. They intermingle with actual nations, which is a race, man. You understand? Come on, man. It's not rocket science, man. Come on. Like goodness gracious, but it's not rocket science, brother. You know what I'm saying? You get it together. You understand? But that's how the other nations is gonna be blessed, man. Because the righteous is gonna rule, and when the righteous rule, they don't gotta worry about the white man coming to their area, killing them, and taking their resources. They ain't gotta worry about that. I mean, when the righteous is in authority, you ain't gotta worry about coronavirus spreading so rapidly because what? There's a dietary law that you gotta keep. You ain't gonna be able to just eat bats. You know what I mean? Cats, dogs, snakes, whatever the hell you eating that's unlawful. That's what a blessing is, man. You understand? What the Lord even say in the Bible that He will bless those that bless Abraham and curse those that curse Abraham. You understand? You gotta understand what's the difference between rulership and a blessing. Yes, the other nations will be blessed, man. They'll be able to have whatever they have to themselves as long as they pay taxes on it to us. You know what I mean? They won't have to worry about somebody coming in their country, blowing it up, starting war with them and doing all nonsense. But you know, when the wicked is in righteousness, when the wicked is in authority, the world is mourning, man. You know what I mean? Because right now the white man is in authority, and the world is mourning, man. You understand? There's children that's getting blown up into pieces for no reason, apparently for no reason, man. Just because the white man want oil. You understand? That's what it means that the other nations is gonna be blessed. It don't mean they getting salvation. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean that they gonna be up there with Israelites. That's not what this Bible is talking about, man. This Bible is not written for any other nations. This Bible is not written for any other people but blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? Cornelius it go even to Ruth, man. They are not other nations, man. Those are Israelites according to the Bible. Real quickly, anybody got any questions or comments before I go to the next verses?
Sir.
Go ahead.
When you were talking about the princess and lady, you know what I'm saying, calling herself a dog before Christ, is that similar? So we equate that to getting a boot kiss today, Slocky?
You said, can we equate that to what?
Getting a boot kiss today. When she lowered her out, is that the same thing as getting a boot kiss today? Slocky?
Right. Because when we do a boot kiss, we pull out the scripture, and when the scripture tells them what they should do if they want to serve the Lord. You should understand your place. You should understand where you belong, which is under the children of Israel. So yes, you could equate that to the same thing, man. You understand it your place. That's why when we get a boot kiss, we say, well, the Lord might have mercy on this, heathen.
That's right.
You understand? The Lord may just have mercy. You might just survive and won't have to go through nuclear warfare, but you'll be a servant still. You know what I mean? You're still gonna be a servant. You're still gonna be underneath us. But maybe the Lord won't kill you, in the nuclear warfare that's coming to battle. Go ahead.
Maybe he'll make him a taskmaster.
Yeah, maybe you'll be a taskmaster. Maybe you'll be the one to motivate the other Edomites to make sure they're doing their job right. You know what I mean? Yeah, this brother is completely lost his mind. He said Ruth was a Moabite too. Yeah, you done completely just lost your mind. I know you just, I know you want to save the other nations. As a matter of fact, give me that verse where it say, though thou be joined hand in hand. Somebody pull that for me. Though thou be joined hand in hand.
Sir.
Go ahead.
A lot of times, you know, when you tell the truth about certain things, people get in their feelings and they get real emotional because of their love affair, you know, with the oppressor. You know what I'm saying? So if it's a love affair with the oppressor that they have, you know, they need to fight that. It's like a crackhead having a love affair with crack. You gotta fight that stuff, man. It ain't no need to keep loving your oppressor, knowing your oppressor want to see you dead. Salam.
Right, exactly, man. Give me that. It's Proverbs 11 and 21. You're exactly right, man. Because when you ever hear somebody trying to fight for the oppressor or any other nation, 9 times out of 10, you gotta love her. You know what I mean? Your little side thing, whatever you dealing with, is probably a heathen. You know what I mean? So you trying to figure out, or you got a best friend that you grew up with. Not him, man.
Slide you, Lord. I got a statement to make, right? How can Ruth be a Moabite, right? And Moab and Ammon is not allowed in the congregation.
Right, exactly.
How?
And even furthermore to prove that Ruth, because he said that you can prove to me that Ruth was a Moabite, but you can't prove nothing to the I.S.U.P.K. You can't prove nothing. Only thing you can do is come in here and be taught. You have nothing to prove to us. You cannot prove nothing to the I.S.U.P.K. man. You understand? Because we was taught righteously by the men above us. You understand? But you know that Ruth was a Moabite. Give me 1 second. You know that Ruth was a Moabite due to the law of kinsmen. What is a kinsman? Ruth, if you look at how Ruth got married, it was under the law of kinsmen.
Right.
If you get married under the law of kinsmen, it has to be your kinsman, man. It has to be your nation. Another nation is not your kin. Do you hear any black man going out there calling a white person they kin? Yeah, that's my kinfolk. No, that's they talking about, when a black person say kinfolk, they damn near talking about their direct family. They talking about somebody that's literally related to them blood-wise, like a cousin, a brother, a sister. You know what I mean? But off the law of kinsmen shows you that Ruth was not a Moabite, man. So you can't prove nothing to me. You understand? Like you don't know the Bible.
Right.
Go.
One thing, well, I don't mean
No,
class.
you too wild.
I mean interrupt the class, Rory, but he is so unlearned in scriptures. He don't even know that the land of Moab was under the Israelites. Moses took over the land of Moab. Moab used to be a part of Israel. Did he know that?
Right, exactly. If you go into the history, just like he said, you go into history, you'll realize that the part of Moab that she was dwelling in was actually under Israel control. It was a land that was controlled by Israelites. You understand? But you gotta do history. You gotta know the Bible, man. But you understand? Somebody got that Proverbs 1:11. Oh wait, somebody says Salakia first. Go ahead.
Salakia, sir. I got a comment and I got that scripture that you want.
Go ahead. Go ahead about the comment.
My comment was it right here. So-called Christians, you know what I'm saying? Because I used to be one of, they think they know everything according to their own knowledge. Man, you don't know that. Doing the I.S.U.P.K, getting clad, getting all black, you don't know a damn thing. I didn't know a damn thing until I got in here, man. And the more classes I took, it is what it is. I learned more. And I learned more in 3 days with the I.S.U.P.K than I learned my whole life in the Christian church. So walk away from the Christian church, man. And come on in here with this truth and get your knowledge. Put on your all black and come on here and suit up and put your boots on and come out here and do what you're supposed to do. Salakia, sir. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 21.
Damn right.
Go hand join in hand. The wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered.
Right, you understand? Though your hand be joined hand in hand, don't you want to save all these other nations, man? Though you don't give a damn about black people, and your mission is to make sure we know that other nations is these people, which they not. You understand? The wicked shall not go unpunished, man. And what we know about the Bible, what we know what the Bible say, the wicked is in power, man. Job 9:24 say the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. This is talking about the white man. You can think all you want that Cornelius was a Roman. You can think it all you want. That ain't gonna save the actual Roman though. I'll tell you that. It's not gonna save the actual white man. It's not, man. You understand?
Right.
It's not at all. You understand? Anybody got any questions? I'm trying to find this other verse. Anybody else got a question? Go ahead.
Pick up with some of y'all saying about do we
right, hold on to that precept. Give me back to Romans, because it's more on Romans, the chapter 11, that I missed on there. Give me back to Romans 11 and start at verse 2, so we'll know back of what verse I'm pulling again. Give me Romans 11 and 2.
Going out of one God. This is the book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 2. Yahweh had not cast away his people, which he foreknew. Why y'all not, what ye not what the scripture says of Elijah, how he maketh intercession to Yahweh against Israel, saying,
Right, so it say,
Lord.
so it's right there, it say, the Most High have not cast away his people, man, which he foreknew. Will ye not know the scripture which saith in Elias? You understand? Keep going.
Going on one con. Verse 3. Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life.
Keep going.
Verse 4. But what saith the answer of Yahweh unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal.
Come.
Keep going.
Going on to one con. Verse 5. Even so, being at this present time also, there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
Look, I'm going to tell you this, man. There's a remnant of Israel that's going to be reserved for the Lord's elect, man. You understand? It's not other nations. The Lord didn't think, okay, well, all this is going on, they fell, and now let me graft in a new nation to be a part of his people. No, man. The Lord always saved the remnant of his people, man, of Israelites. You understand? Cornelius was that remnant that was saved. That's an Israelite, man. You understand? The Lord ain't getting no other nations in here to do his work. You understand? You said something? You about to say something? Go ahead.
Come. When it says, I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed to the knee of the image of Baal, that mean it was 7,000 men that were born that just kept the laws off dribble, or they just came into the truth as well?
No, it's going back to the time of Elijah, where all the prophets was being killed by I think it was Jezebel. Mm-hmm. Jezebel was killing.
She was Phoenician.
Yeah, she was Jezebel was having the prophets being killed. So the Lord had to hide 7,000 men to himself in a cave. He held them in a cave and whatnot, so he could save the remnant of his people. You understand? But yeah, those brothers that was grew up, learned the truth, came to the truth, was in the truth, and was serving the Lord. You know what I mean? But yeah, but just like how he saved that remnant, he's saving the remnant now, man. You understand? You would think that after all the white man done to us, we just would be destroyed and not know. But the Lord woke a spirit up in his people, man. You understand? The Lord saved his people. The Lord said, you know what I mean? I'm not about to do away with my people. That's what we read in the Bible. The Lord changed not. That's why it's still Jacob here.
Yes, sir.
You understand? Go ahead.
I had that precept that we were just talking about, the 7,000 men in Israel, 1 Kings 19 and 18.
Oh no, it's you to wild on that. The water for that though. But yeah, it's 1 Kings. What you said? 1 Kings 18 and 19.
19 and 18.
19 and 18 and 1 Kings. Yeah, you to wild on that though. The water for that. You know what I mean? Anybody else got any questions? Then damn, this brother is just crazy, man. You understand? I done pretty much told you the law of kinsmen. Just go look up the law of kinsmen. If you really want the answer, go look up the law of kinsmen. Furthermore, just tell me if an Israelite can be a stranger. You've been watching the class for damn near an hour, and you still can't answer if a brother can be a stranger or not. Just answer the simple question: can an Israelite be a stranger? That will really kill your whole argument. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Can I answer that question?
No, I want him to answer. I know you know the answer. I know you know the answer to the question. You know what I'm saying? I already know you know the answer. I want him to answer though. I want him to answer that question. But you know what I mean. Anybody else got any questions or comments though? What we got? How much? What's the time looking like? We got about 20 more minutes. Anybody got any questions, comments? You maybe want to redo a class about Ruth.
Like,
Like you, sir.
Okay.
didn't he say An Israelite can't be a Gentile?
Yeah, he said Israelite can't be a Gentile.
You should get one of the brothers read the Zondervan dictionary about Gentile, about how a Gentile can be Israelite. It's in that, and this come out of white man mouth.
Right.
Usually, right?
Got the yeah. It say usually it means a Gentile.
Yeah.
I read that last class. Is the Zondervan over there?
Yeah,
Right there, this is right there.
Oh, that's the pictorial one.
Oh,
It's a one in there. It's one in there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, say even if you look in the white man's Zondervan Bible dictionary, it's in the cloud. I think it's in this cloud. Go ahead.
He got it.
Did you want me to read Gentile?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. He said Israelite. Nope. You know what? I don't even want to go there. He answered the question and set himself up in the trap. So he said, no, an Israelite cannot be a stranger. He said Israelite cannot be a stranger. So please somebody pull the verse that you know I want. Go ahead.
I don't have the verse right out here, and I got the definition of Gentile right here.
All right, hold that. I want to. He answered the question that I wanted him to answer. All right, somebody pull Leviticus 25 and 35. It's another one, but you can pull Leviticus 25 and 35 for the time being. He said an Israelite cannot be a stranger. Just like how he said they can't be a Gentile, which we proved to him with 2 verses how they can be a Gentile. Now he's saying it can't be a stranger. We about to prove to him that it can be a stranger. Go ahead.
Sir.
Go ahead. You got it?
The book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 35. And if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him. Yea, though he be a stranger.
Right. It say who? Now read it from the top. It said read that from the top.
Going out of one con. The book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 35. And if thy brother be waxen poor.
If thy brother be, hold on. If thy brother be waxen poor, this is a brother, man. You understand? I'm even if you go into today's time, I've never heard nobody call a white person their brother. That's my brother. Never. Though thy brother, that's an Israelite, man. That's your brethren. That's your kinsman. You understand? Though thy brother, that is an Israelite, man. Keep going.
And if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee.
Right. If thy brother be waxen poor, if your brother is poor or he falling in decay with you, some little, where he owes you some type of debt or something like that, keep going.
Then thou shalt relieve him.
Then you shall relieve your brother, man. You understand? Because there's something great that we got in Israelites. We have something great that we got in the law that the Lord gave us, man. That there shouldn't be no poor Israelites, man. All brothers should be able to eat and not have to worry about what the hell they gonna eat when they wake up tomorrow, man. You know what I'm saying? All brothers shouldn't have to worry about, go ahead, hold on one second. All brothers shouldn't have to worry about, you know what I mean, if they gonna be able to survive or feed their children the next day. That's not what you should not have to worry. That's why the Lord gave us laws and commandments to follow, man. So all of us can be great. You know what I'm saying? So all of us can live up to what the Lord required us to live up to, man. You understand? But yet here you is one of the white men that come into the congregation that's putting his damn foot on our neck, man. Oppressing us to no end. You understand? Keep going on that. It's Leviticus 35 and 25, man.
25 and 35.
25 and 35, man. Leviticus 25 and 35, man. Though thy brother be waxing poor, read it from the top, man. Give him the chapter and verse and read it from the top. This man don't know the damn Bible, man.
Leviticus chapter 25, verse 35. And if thy brother be poor and fallen in decay thee, then thou shalt relieve him. So he be a stranger.
Right, you going so like you going in and out. I'm gonna have a brother in the class read it. You want y'all to read it for me? Bible Kashah?
Leviticus 25, verse 35. And if thy brother be waxen poor and fall in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him. though he be a stranger
Right.
or sojourner.
Right, though he be a stranger, man, or a sojourner, man. This is a brother that you shall relieve if he fall into decay or waxing poor, though he be a stranger, man. You understand? Because you know what's a stranger? I'm from Atlanta. You know what I mean? We live in Georgia. We in Atlanta right now, in the I.S.U.P.K. Atlanta. There could be a brother that come from New York, and in the world, what brothers would say? Oh, that's a stranger. You ain't from around here. Oh, where you from? Oh, you know what I mean? That's a stranger, man. Someone that's not from the land that you from. That's what a stranger is. Just like a Gentile, depending on the context, you got to look at the context. It could be a brother, man. It could be an Israelite, man. You just don't know the damn scriptures. Well, it is not no problem if you don't know the scripture. That is not a problem at all. Just coming to the class, man. Keep watching these videos. You know what I mean? We had a lot of brothers that start off just like you, debating and trying to, just keep coming to class, man. Show some type of order. Show some type of respect, you know what I mean? Show some type of etiquette. Come to class and you'll learn, man. There's no problem, man. We ain't got no problem with teaching brothers like you. But you got to learn the scriptures, man. You got to know what you're talking about. Understand? The Lord don't deal with no other nation, man. You understand? The Lord do not deal with no other nation. Stop trying to give other nations Israelite glory, man. You understand? As a matter of fact, before we go in the class, we're going to pull a verse I pulled last week. Give me Romans 9 and 4. Start at verse 3. Romans 9 and 3. Hold on. He said, I spoke it out of context, even though it say, if thy brother. It clearly say, if thy brother, but it's out of context. He's saying that it's the stranger that was with us that's not in the nation. But it's clearly called him a brother. It clearly said, though thy brother. Yeah, you don't know the Bible, man. But yeah, go ahead with that verse I told you.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 3. For I could wish that myself were cursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
Right, now this is Paul talking about he wished himself was a curse from Christ for his brethren, as we use the word. And he goes specifically to know when it talks about brother, it's talking about one person, which is your kinsman, according to your flesh, man. When it say, though thy brother, that's your kinsman according to your flesh. It's not talking about another nation. It would have said, if another nation. It would have said, if an Edomite. But it said, though thy brother, man. You understand? You don't know context. It's crazy because people like you always say, people like you say, well, Gentiles can't be an Israelite. But when somebody say, well, like when a real prophet at I.S.U.P.K tell you, you got to know context, there's no such thing as context. You know what I mean? All Gentiles just mean Israelites. But then when you get cut and somebody shows you, or where it says a brother's being a stranger, it's out of context. I thought it was no context. Now I'm out of context. Man, you don't know your damn context, man. It's sad. It's sad, man. Look, I'm sad for brothers like you, man. You know what I mean? I'm sad for brothers like you. You know, because brothers like you just want to serve the white man all their damn life, man. Me, I don't. The brothers in this school, the brothers in this building, we ain't trying to serve the white man all our life, man. You understand? We trying to serve the Lord, man. You understand? We trying to serve the Lord. Keep reading on this verse. Who got that?
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites.
Right, who are Israelites, man? Paul letting you know he's talking about Israelites, man. Paul was always talking about Israelites. Paul ain't going to no other nation, trying to teach no other nation. He was trying to teach Israelites that was in those nations, man.
It's like it. And you could have began with the kinsman word. Because remember you were talking about the one in the roof, talking about the kinsman, being a Moab.
Right,
you got back to the kinsman on love.
Right,
Paul was saying kinsman again, so I mean.
Right, Paul, like you said, Paul said kinsman again. That's why you got to look at the words that's being used. Because Ruth was married under the law of the kinsman. Kinsman is your blood, man. If you didn't think it was, what did Paul say? Kinsman according to my flesh. There's no way around that, man. According to my flesh, my kinsmen, man. It's not an Edomite, man. It's not. It's not a Chinese, you know what I mean, which is Moab. You understand? But you just don't know the Bible. Keep going, though. It said, who are Israelites? Even if you didn't believe it, it said, even if you didn't believe kinsmen, you didn't believe according to flesh, it said, who are Israelites, man? There's no way around it. There's no way around it. You just don't know the damn Bible, man. Keep going.
Right.
Book of Romans chapter 9 verse 4. Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenant, and the giving of the law, and the service of Yahweh, and the promises. Good
night. It said, who are Israelites, who pertaineth to the law, the glory, the serving of God, the carrying of the covenant, everything, man. There's no way you can try to get an Edomite to come in here and get the covenant, man. Because Paul just said out of his mouth, it only pertains to Israelites. It don't pertain to no other person. That's how you, give me 1 second, that's how you know Cornelius was not a heathen. Because you know what? That glory, that promise, the covenant, it only pertained to Israelites. He had to be an Israelite. None other than an Israelite, man. You understand? There you go, taking another scripture out of verse. He's saying, talking about the Passover. If you don't come to the Passover to keep the unleavened bread, then you should be cut off, whether you're a stranger or a congregation of Israel, whether you be a stranger or born in the land. You prove my point. Whether you be a stranger or born in the land. So are you telling me that only all Israelites is born in Israel? Where was you born at, brother? Was you born in Israel? I'm pretty sure you was born in America, right? Well, you know you don't fit you don't fit born in the land. You wasn't born there. So you know which one you would fit? That stranger, bro. You that stranger. That's who you is. Otherwise, you shouldn't even be talking about being no damn Israelite at all, because you wasn't born there. So what the hell is you talking about? Unless you is that stranger. You cut yourself, man. You cutting yourself. You cutting yourself, man. Both for the stranger, you keep bringing up stranger, you cutting yourself. All right, as a matter of fact, give me, we got a little bit more time. We got about a couple more minutes. I'm going to bring out this last verse. Give me Isaiah 14:1. Boy, Isaiah 14:1. I'm going to tell you the stranger that you looking for. You want stranger so bad to be the white man, I'm going to give you a stranger scripture. Where is the white man? And now you tell me this, all that you posted, you tell me this if this is a brother. You know what I mean? You tell me this. This is the scripture that you're looking for a white, because you swear that when it's talking about, caring for a stranger, it's talking about the white man. But why does this one talk about the white man in a different context being a stranger? Somebody give me this verse real quick. We're going to end it. We're going to end the class off on this. Go ahead. Somebody got that? Isaiah 14:1. Go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
Right. He will have mercy on Jacob. Hold on, stop right there. He will have mercy on Jacob, man. That's what the Lord will have mercy on. The Lord see the things that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans go through in this earth right now, man. You understand? But he'll have mercy on us. You understand? This ain't the end of it all. White people, what they need mercy for, man? If I see a white homeless person, you just a fuck up. I mean, Salakia, but you know what I mean? You got white privilege. You could probably put on a nice suit, go into the bank right now and get a loan. You a fuck up. Like, Salakia.
A two-time loser.
Right, you're a two-time loser. Like, I don't feel sorry for you. You know, like, if you white, at the least you could do is, because we in DeKalb right now. You understand? We in Decatur. You see white people on the street in DeKalb asking black people for money. And my mindset be like, why don't you go to a rich white neighborhood and ask for money? I'm pretty sure white people would give you money. Like, you just dumb. You know what I mean? You dumb. There's no words for you.
Hey,
yeah.
But believe it or not, they be over here because they come on more over here because black people willing to give them money. I see it all the time.
And that's a damn shame too, man. That's a damn shame too. Because you know what? White people know. Because white people know that if they see a white person like that, they know you just damn lazy. They know this. You know what I mean? But it's black people it's black people like you, Lamont Sanders, that want to save white people so bad, you get them money. You know what I mean? That's what you'll do. You'll get them money.
It's Larkin, sir.
Go ahead.
That's a heavy point also Thomas Young just brought out because I couldn't, you know, I don't know who it was, but I'm pretty sure, I think it was General Muhammad broke it down, like, you know what I'm saying, like, because you know that image that they have of Christ, that homosexual, you know what I'm saying, where he looked like a poor, just a little sad, pathetic little person, like, that when they see white homeless people on the street, you know what I'm saying, with all that hair and looking like pathetic, they see that pathetic Jesus Christ. Like, it was something like that when I think I heard General break down before it's like.
Right, that's damn right, man. You understand? But keep going on that verse.
Cut. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land.
Right, we gonna be setting our own land, and it ain't gonna be no heathens in our land, man. You're not gonna have your heathen woman that you want so badly to be joined with us. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. I'm newsflash. Sorry to tell you, it's just not going. That's not what it's gonna be, man. It's not what it's gonna be. Keep going.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
Right, this is the stranger that you wanted. You so badly just knew the stranger was the heathen. Well, this is your stranger that's a heathen, man. And this is, I'll tell you right now, this is not the brother. This is your actual strangers that you're trying to be joined into the covenant. This your stranger that you thought that was the white person. This is what your stranger, this is what they're going to be. This is their actual position. Keep going.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Right, they going to cleave to us, man. Why they going to cleave to us? Because that's what we do now. We cleave to him. That's what you doing now. We cleaving to them. When we want something to be done, when we want some help, we got to go to the white man. Well, you know what? It's going to come a time where that stranger so bad that you know that's a white man, he going to come to us for anything, man. Anything he want. He want to build a new house, he'll come to us. Pay us taxes on it. You know what I mean? That's what they going to do. They going to cleave to us, man. You want some water? All right, I'll give you some water. You know what I mean? That's what they going to be doing. Keep going.
Verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Right, and we gonna take them. And does this sound like salvation? We gonna take them and bring them to their place. When you take something, you bring it to its place. That don't sound like you going willingly. That don't sound willfully at all. That sound like you being forced to do something. If you don't, then you don't want to know what's gonna happen to you if you don't. You just know that this is what you need to do. You know what I mean? Keep going. No, hold on. Keep going.
Cut. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for
right.
servant and handmaid.
Right, and we gonna possess them in the land of the Lord, man. For servants and handmaids, man. That's what we gonna do. That's your stranger, man. Your stranger is gonna be servants and handmaids to Israelites, man. They're not gonna be joined in with us, man. Stop trying to join these damn heathens into Israelites, man.
Right.
You understand? Stop. We had enough Martin Luther Kings, man. We don't need that no more. You understand? You ain't doing no different than Martin Luther King, brother. You're not. And look at where it got us. You understand? What it say in the scriptures? Is Israel a homeborn slave? Like, are we a homeborn slave that just assume that we need the white man to do anything, man? Damn, man. You understand? But with that, anybody got any questions or comments before we go ahead and close out class?
It's large, man.
Go ahead.
You want me to finish up on that verse?
Yeah, you go ahead and finish up on it.
Cut. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
Right. Good night, man. Why you are a captive to the white man right now? Why are you trying to save him, man? You are a captivity right now, man. They don't look at you like that. They don't look at you like you. That's you know that's a very you just a Christian. I'm into that dairy. You just a Christian, because that's what Christians do. You understand? That's what Christians do. We not Christian over here. Israelites is not Christian, man. You understand? Somebody else said Salakia? I'm gonna let young man Willie go first. We're gonna get y'all all in before we close out class.
Salakia, sir. Only thing I wanted to do is tell whoever that is on online, you know what I'm saying, man, just come to class, man. Put on all black, come to class, shut your mouth, and learn what the Bible has to say from the priests and prophets, the officers, the general, the captains of the Most High. in the I.S.U.P.K. That's all you need to do. If you want to learn, you want to be a scholar, get in class. Well,
Right, damn right. That's just like that brother could have said it no better than that, man. Just come to class, man. We understand you want to know, you know what I mean? You just love white people too much. You coming to class, we'll shake that Christianity off of you, man. Ain't nothing wrong. We'll shake it off you. We'll get that off you. We'll build you up to be a warrior, man. To actually fight and care about your people. You know, if not, then just be out in the world, suck a ride. I mean, Salaki, you know what I mean? Just be out in the world, just doing what the hell you want to do. Somebody else have something?
yes, Salagi, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just had a quick question. If I could just get a breakdown of the Feast of Purim, like where I could read to learn more about what it is.
I know it's in Esther, but once you come to the Feast of Purim, we're going to have a whole class on it. So I'm going, you know what I mean, that's a whole class. That's a whole breakdown class on why we why we hold the Feast of Purim. So if you come into the Feast of Purim, or if you just, you can't make it, you can watch online, and during it, we'll have a whole class on it.
Okay, God.
All right. Anybody else got any questions or comments? I'm going to go ahead and close out the online. All right, no sweat. If you in the I.S.U.P.K. Atlanta school, if you ain't got the information on the Feast of Purim, contact, you know, officer in the school, so you can get the information on that. It's gonna be up this week. So see if you can contact officer in the school. Yeah, I see right here. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and hold on. Give me a second. No, I gotta be over there. But I'm gonna pass the class off with priest and officer Thamayam. I got it. 500 of Thamayam.
Y'all just call in. All right. We had I.S.U.P.K. start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister come into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will get permission from the head to court each other. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and also in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, means 10th in the Hebrew, my Ishra, 10th for every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, get it to the treasury department or the teacher. Or you can put tithes or offering in the, you can have this bucket right here. Just knock it. You can have it out. You got time right in the bucket if you ever have tithes or offering. Okay? Priest fund, free will offer for priests. It's not mandatory whatsoever amount you like to give. The next upcoming holy convocation is the Feast of Purim, March 7th and 8th. If anyone wants to be a trooper, and March 7th is Slaki. March 7th is this Saturday, and on the 8th is this Sunday. And if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, so to wear all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, our margin, which means stand. You have to drink down, Warrior. Okay, that's good. Men of Israel, we're going to get one courtesy salute. Amar Shabbat. Amajim. Barak. Yahanna I.S.U.P.K. Yahawashi. What we just said in the English, may the Most High bless you in the name of Christ. Yazam Matah with me hands down. So, we're going to salute the sisters now. Sisters, you're going to stand at a 45-degree angle. You put your right hand over your left, shame face, and when I tell you, when I say Barak, you put your right hand over your chest. Men of Israel, we'll give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Amar Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shema Alathan Bahashim Yahushai. And what we just said in English to the sisters, may the Most High watch over you in the name of Christ. Yazam Matah, me hands down, class dismissed. That shit goes strong. That shit up.